Good morning, fourth graders. Today we're remembering Martin Luther King's birthday. And I know that in third grade and in your earlier grades, you have read and learned about Martin Luther King. I know that earlier in our school year, we learned about the history of our country and the civil rights movement as well. And he was really at the heart of it and did so much to try and make people see that we are all the same inside and that we all have stories to bring and we all have talents to share and that we deserve to have the same opportunities as one another, no matter the color of the skin, no matter where you're from, no matter what your background is. And I believe that in my heart for each of you. And so I want to share a story with you. It's called Martin's Big Words, and you'll notice some awards on here. This got a Caldecott Award, which is the highest honor for picture books. It also received this nonviolent social change because he believed that change needed to happen without violence, that protests should be peaceful, that nobody else needed to get hurt, which is such an important lesson to hear over and over and over again. It also got an award for the best illustrated children's book. So please sit back, enjoy this story, Martin's Big Words, and I will share the illustrations and the words with you. It starts with this beautiful stained glass. He was a preacher, and this is what the windows are like in churches often. Beautiful stained glass. Martin's Big Words, the life of Dr. Martin Luther King. Doreen, Rappaport, illustrated by Brian Collier. Everywhere in Martin's hometown, he saw the signs, white only. His mother said these signs were in all southern cities and towns in the United States. Every time Martin read the words, he felt bad. Until he remembered what his mother told him. You are as good as anyone. I love the art in here because it's a combination of photos and painting and collage. In church, Martin sang hymns. He read from the Bible. He listened to his father preach. These words made him feel good. When I grow up, I'm going to get big words too. Have you ever sat in church or someplace where you've heard adults speak and you notice those big words and you try to understand those big words? Martin grew up. He became a minister like his father. And he used the big words he had heard as a child from his parents and from the Bible. Everyone can be great. He studied the teachings of Mahatma Gandhi. He learned how the Indian nation won freedom without ever firing a gun. Martin said love when others said hate. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. I think that's one of my favorite quotes of his, although there's many. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And that means that when you hate something, you can't get rid of that thing by hating it. You have to learn to love that thing, love other things, to move beyond it. And that's what he thought. He said together when others said separate. He said peace when others said war. Sooner or later, all the people of the world will have to discover a way to live together. Our country is trying to figure that out right now, a way to live together with love and peace, not hate and war. In 1955, on a cold December day in Montgomery, Alabama, Rosa Parks was coming home from work. A white man told her to get up from her seat on the bus so he could sit. She said no, and she was arrested. Montgomery's black citizens learned of her arrest. It made them angry. They decided not to ride the buses until they could sit anywhere they wanted. What a peaceful way to protest, right? To not ride those buses. When you don't ride a bus, the bus company doesn't get money. It's hard for you, but it just changes the way things work. And that really ended up making a difference in Montgomery. For 381 days, they walked to school, to work, and church. That's more than a year. They walked in the rain and the cold and in blistering heat. Martin walked with them, and they talked with them, and sang with them and prayed with them, until the white city leaders had to agree they could sit anywhere they wanted. When the history books are written, someone will say, there lived black people who had the courage to stand up for their rights. In the next 10 years, black Americans all over the South protested peacefully for equal rights. Martin walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. White ministers told them to stop. Mayors and governors and police chiefs and judges ordered them to stop, but they kept on marching. Wait. For years I have heard the word wait. We have waited more than 340 years for our rights. 340 years for our rights. And you're thinking, well, but they had only been marching for a year or so, for 10 years, but that's not true. Many of the African Americans who came to this country came as slaves, where they were owned by someone else, where they were treated as less than a person. So that's what they mean by that 340 years. That is so long ago, so long. They were jailed and beaten and killed, but they kept on marching. Some black Americans wanted to fight back with their fists. Martin convinced them not to by reminding them of the power of love. Love is the key to the problems of the world. Many white Southerners hated and feared Martin's words. A few threatened to kill him and his family. His house was bombed, his brother's house was bombed, but he refused to stop. Remember, if I am stopped, this movement will not be stopped because God is with this movement. And when he said that, he means, for those of you who believe in God, and the God that Martin Luther King believed in, that God said the golden rule. Do you know the golden rule? Treat others as you wish to be treated. And that's the God that Martin Luther King was talking about. You can't tell somebody they can't sit someplace on a bus and be treating them as yourself, to treat your neighbors as yourself. The marches continued. More and more Americans listened to Martin's words. He shared his dream and filled them with hope. I have a dream that one day in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. After 10 years of protests, the lawmakers in Washington voted to end segregation. The white-only signs in the South came down. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. cared about all Americans. He cared about people all over the world, and people all over the world admired him. In 1964, he won the Nobel Peace Prize. He won it because he taught others to fight with words and not fists. Look at the image of this strong girl just waiting to use her big words. Martin went everywhere people needed help. In 1968, he went to Memphis, Tennessee. He went to help garbage collectors who were on strike. He walked with them and talked with them and sang with them and prayed with them. On his second day there, he was shot. He died. His big words are alive for us today. There it is, Martin's big words. Today you're going to get a chance to think about a dream that you have for others and for our world and the little things that you can do to make our world a better place. I have a dream that we won't have stories in the news and people's lives ruined because white people and black people don't treat each other equally. Mostly that white people don't treat black people equally. I know it's hard in our small little town. We may feel sometimes like we don't see it or understand it, but we still have an opportunity to act and to learn and to be sure that ours are words of love and not of hate, and that we work to know that each person is worth the same as everybody else. Have a good day today. Take time to do good things for others, and I will see you again later.